Born in November the 5th of 1919 in the Ebenezer community. I'll be, in another month, I'll be 98. We were country farmers. My parents, my daddy was Edward Cheatham, and mother was Mary Jamison. My dad died in his early 60s, and they had 5 kids, I guess. Not any of them living now. We were country farmers, had a 100-acre farm. That bale of cotton wasn't worth but $25. We'd only make 6 or 7 bales of cotton on that old farm. It was wore out. During the Depression, it was hard. We grew what we eat mostly. Well, I was married, had 2 kids, and looking for the 3rd one, and I got drafted. I went to Magnolia and begged that man, I can't think of his name, to let me off till the baby was born. I wanted to be there, and he wouldn't even talk to me about letting me off, so I had to go to boot camp and leave my family. And that baby I was looking for was 13 months old before I ever saw her. I was working for making paper bags in that plant in Camden paper mill. There was a bag plant there by it, and we were making paper bags. And I got my notice, and it wasn't long till I was gone. And when I came back, I went back to get my old job back. They wouldn't give me my old job back. They was going to put me further down the line. And that didn't suit me, so I just didn't go back. And I done odds and ends for a while. I finally got me a truck driving job, stayed for that for 30 years. Then I retired at 62. Been here in Stamps. I hauled a lot of crude oil when I moved to Stamps. That's the reason I moved here, so I could stay local. Running out of elevator, I was going all over the country, and I didn't like that. They sent me to Farragut, Idaho for boot training. Well, it was odd for me because I'd never been out of Columbia County. Well, I had, but not very far from home place. And I was a long ways from home. I was away from my wife and kids, and I didn't enjoy any part of it. And boot camp was close to a huge lake there in Idaho. And they'd carry us down there, and we'd row boats around sometimes just for exercise, I guess. And I didn't like any part of that boot camp. There was lots of men went through that place in that was only there 6 weeks. We short training, because they wanted us over yonder. Well, I come home after boot camp, I come home on a week's leave. I believe it was a week. And when I got back, I had been assigned to go and be in the Navy. I didn't have anything to do with it. And I didn't know I was going to be on a battleship till I got out of boot camp I was assigned to the South Dakota, and it was in for repairs at that particular time. And I hung around there in that small town for, oh, I don't know, a week or two, and then we set sail. And our first operation was against the Philippines. You know, we didn't know we was going to the Philippines, and we got almost over there. We were supposed to meet the fleet down south of the Philippines. They were working on the island down there. And just before we got there, they changed our orders to go up north there to this group of islands. I can't tell you what the name of them is, but there was a port. That's all we used it for, because it was a circle of islands, and we could go inside that. There's one deep channel to get in that particular place, and we went in one day, and the fleet came in the next day. And me and 3 more fellows made liberty just before the fleet come in, and they assigned one of the little islands to us. There wasn't nothing else on there but sailors. There was 3 or 4 grass huts, but there nobody living in them. And we met the fleet there, and that's where we'd go back to every once in a while to take on ammunition, fuel, what have you. That was our base, you might call it. My station was upstairs, up in the tower. Our main station was down about 2 floors down in the ship. And that was, I never could have worked that much. That was, the boys were watching the enemy airplanes, they was keeping up with them. And I was upstairs, and I was supposed to be watching a surface, see if any surface missiles coming in. The carriers were in the middle. We had 4 carriers, and then around them was battleships and cruisers. And then outside of them, looking for submarines and what have you, was a little destroyer. We had a whole slew of them. I forgot how many ships was in that fleet, but there was a bunch of them. And the planes, we was out there to protect our carriers, because our planes was the one that was doing the damage. We wasn't doing no damage. We put the first 16-inch shell in on Japan, and it missed the target. Of course, we was about 20 miles out. They put a Japanese over there to guide us in to Tokyo Bay, and they said he had I believe a leg missing, and said he cried all the way in there. But he guided us in there because they had mines all in that bay there, and we didn't want to run into any of them. And we were the first ship in there, because our commander was on that ship. That was his ship at USS South Dakota. And Missouri was late coming out there. That's the one they signed a peace treaty on. And we wasn't in the bay when they signed that. We was outside of Japan. And the crew come out there, they signed the papers and everything. And then we went in the bay after they signed it.